What is up, everybody? Steve here. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk about Wells Fargo. You might have seen this article already. It came out a couple of days ago, and it's pertaining to Wells Fargo pretty much dropping out of the mortgage market. We got to talk about this because this is big news, and it reminds me of what happened in the last real estate crash, and they touched on it as well with JP Morgan as well as Bank of America. Wells Fargo, once the number one player in mortgages, is stepping back from the housing market. By the way, me personally, I think Wells Fargo took over, what was it, like First Union and some other banks. And I had Wells Fargo for a short period of time. I forget what bank that they took over that I had. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if it was First Union. I think they took over multiple banks, but I was not impressed when Wells Fargo took over. And since then, I went into Wells Fargo with a family member, and it was horrible. We waited in line for probably 25, 30 minutes just to get to a teller. Ridiculous. And, I have money in many different banks and credit unions, and Wells Fargo is not one of them. Okay, rant over. Instead of its previous goal of reaching as many Americans as possible, the company will now focus on home loans for existing bank and wealth management customers and borrowers in minority communities. Wells Fargo is also shuttering its correspondent business that buys loans made by third-party lenders and significantly shrinking its mortgage servicing portfolio through asset sales. The shift will result in a fresh round of layoffs for the bank's mortgage operations, executives acknowledged, but they declined to quantify exactly how many jobs will be lost. I'm sure it's going to be thousands and thousands of job losses. So if you're with Wells Fargo, I would caution you to start looking around at different banks. It says, we determined that our home lending business was too large, both in terms of overall size and its scope. Now, my question before we proceed forward is, if you're one of the largest suppliers of mortgages in the United States and you're profitable, why would you pull back? If you're profitable, why are you going to stop? If the housing market, and there's still buyers in the housing market and everything else, why are you going to pull back and not provide mortgages any longer? Are they doing risk analysis? Do they have so many mortgages, and are they looking over at all the mortgages that they have plus all the mortgages that they're servicing and making money on and saying, maybe there's an uptick of delinquencies, and maybe they're looking at certain charts that maybe we're not privy to and showing forecasting of more delinquencies. I don't know. Maybe you guys have that information. Let me know. Wells Fargo will more closely resemble mega rival banks Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase. Both companies ceded mortgage share after the 2008 financial crisis. If you guys were not part of that, I can tell you it was a mess. We dealt as a real estate broker. At the time, we dealt with Bank of America was one of the largest in terms of doing short sales. And we did hundreds and hundreds of short sales with Bank of America. We helped hundreds and hundreds of people avoid foreclosure by doing short sales. And BOA they're horrible for one thing to deal with short sales, but a lot of the banks at the time were. And they were just understaffed, and they were swamped, to say the least, in terms of processing short sales, deed in lieu of foreclosures, as well as loan modifications. Wells Fargo is the biggest U.S. mortgage servicer, which involves collecting payments from borrowers with nearly $1 trillion in loans, or 7.3% of the market as of third quarter. I think there's writing on the wall here. I'm not 100% sure, but if Wells Fargo is anything like Bank of America back in the last real estate crash, they're probably doing something right now. I think that they're hedging themselves by kind of pulling out, not creating any more loans and selling off assets, hedging themselves for what is to come. I don't know. Link is below. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, I appreciate you guys being with me here today. Thanks a lot.